You ever get the feeling there was a whole bunch of stuff you never knew and you wish you had? Well, I'm hoping that I can clear some of that up for you today. What is up, guys, gals, and non-binary pals? My name's Naomi. Welcome to House of Miscellania. Today I'm going to talk to you about all the things that I wish I would have known when I first started diamond painting. Before I started diamond painting, in fact, there were so many things. And this is a really extensive list, you guys. I tapped into the deepest part of my brains for all of this. I'm going to talk to you about this. I'm going to work on my whip at the same time, my work in progress. That's another thing we're going to talk about. But I want to go over them with you. So honestly, grab your work in progress, grab a snack, grab the popcorn, just grab something, grab everything. Because I really want to talk to you guys about all the things that I wish I would have known. Let's begin, okay? First things first, the research stage, right? The research stage of diamond painting. Before you even buy, before you get online, before you go into a store, any of it, I want you to ask yourself one important question. What kind of diamond painter do you want to be? Now that seems like kind of a froofy question, right? It's really important. You got to know what you want to get out of it. Are you doing this for you? Are you doing this for a gift? Are you doing it because you think you're going to make some money? What are you actually doing this for? And a lot of people have a lot of different reasonings behind it. Some, it is legitimately just a time for them to spend on themselves where they don't need to think about anybody else. They don't need to plan for everybody else. They're doing it for their mental health, their me time, what have you. Valid, totally valid. Some people are doing it because they want to give it away as a gift. They want to make something nice for a friend or a family member, a loved one, and it's just for that reason. Or sometimes it's because you just need to kill an hour or several. But ask yourself, what kind of a diamond painter do you want to be? What are you hoping to get out of it? If you're looking to make money, I mean, it's a rough, can't tell you how many times I see the question, you know, what's the best place to sell my diamond paintings? How much can I get for them? You know, things like that. Honestly, I mean, maybe in your local market, you can sell diamond paintings, you know, like a farmer's market, something like that. It's very, very rare that somebody will buy diamond paintings. More often than not, they're doing their own diamond paintings. The people who like them are people who are already doing them. That's not to say that those unicorns don't exist out there, but, you know, they're few and far between. So don't just imagine that you're going to get yourself millions of dollars off of this particular craft, because really crafting, it should be about the relaxation, what the joy that you get out of it, or the gift that you're giving to others, not the amount of money that you're going to make reselling what you're making. Soapbox, off the soapbox, right? Next things you want to consider before you even buy, researching what kind of subjects there are out there for diamond paintings. You know, are you gonna do something that's cartoony? Are you gonna do a landscape? Are you gonna do a portrait? Are you gonna do, you know, there's so many different kinds and subjects around diamond painting. You know, look into those things. The glue types, the large and small, you know, those sorts of things. I'll get more into that in a little while, but do you want to be a solitary or passive kind of diamond painter, or do you want to be an active type community person? Again, that's a whole other subject, okay? If you want to be more of a passive painter, you know, you're looking into being more solitary. Maybe you just want to listen or watch YouTube. You know, you have a favorite content creator at House of Miscellania that you like listening to, and you are just interested in doing that. Maybe commenting, but not really. You're gonna maybe follow the events and you know, you'll diamond paint along with those events, but you're not really planning on letting anybody know you're doing those things. That would be a passive person. Maybe you're watching lives, but you're not really commenting on lives. Otherwise, maybe you are an active community person. You want to be on Facebook. You want to be on, you have favorite people you watch on Instagram or TikTok, Reddit, YouTube. You know, you're doing the events. You're in those events. There's communities everywhere you look. YouTube Lives, Twitch, Discord. I mean, they're everywhere. And the truth is that, you know, with those different communities is a different vibe. So maybe the vibe in one community doesn't work for you, but the vibe in another community does. Or, you know, specific YouTube content is really welcoming. Others kind of make it seem like a challenge or whatever. Just, you kind of know what you're looking to get out of that too. If you want to be more of a lone wolf, maybe you don't care about events and things like that, or you're looking for community. I started diamond painting because, it was a solitary thing at first for my mental health, but, now it's a way I've made friends and treasured friends, really. People that I've been excited to know. I have just been really lucky to have some incredible commenters, some incredible other YouTubers out there. Just very, very grateful for that community that it provided for me when I needed it most. So think about that too. Other things in the research phase, you got to know the lingo, right? Because you'll be out there reading stuff and you're going to go like, what in the sweet baby deer is this person talking about? Because I've never heard words like this before. Okay, so there's some abbreviations, and I'm going to put them up on the screen for you so that you can see what I'm talking about here. First is DP, that's diamond painting. FOMO, fear of missing out. We'll talk about that later. WIP is work in progress. You've got ABs, Aurora Borealis diamonds. Those are the shiny iridescent ones. Again, we'll go over that later. DAC, it's Diamond Art Club. DSA, double-sided adhesive. Again, we'll go into that later. Sable, this was a new one for me. Stash acquired beyond life expectancy. I got one of those. And then there's, other slang terms, right? Like, confetti. Confetti versus color blocking. So confetti, something that's confetti heavy. It has a lot of changes where you change colors often, and it looks like somebody just sprinkled confetti all over your diamond painting. Color blocking, large sections where you're working on one color for a longer time. Knowing whether you're going to like one or the other is really important when you're in the research phase before you buy. We'll get more into that too, but snack size, that's a kit that's a smaller size, easy to work, something that, you're not going to take forever doing. Snack size for different people means different things, so I don't want to get too far into exactly, what that sizing is, because it might not be the same for you as it is for me. Multi-placing or multi-placer, that's when you use a tool like I am using right here to place more than one drill at a time. Stash or de-stash. A stash would be when you've got a large amount of kits stashed away, or hoard as it's known sometimes. I said hoard, H-O-A-R-D. That's when you've got a lot of kits that you haven't worked on yet. You've got them saved, and maybe you intend to work on them, or maybe you're just a collector. Who knows? Destashing, obviously, is getting rid of that stash or selling that stash in various groups that exist across the internet. I'll get more into that later. Mud. mud is putty, or wax rather. Mud is wax. I suppose you could also call it putty sometimes. But yeah, putty is another one. Putty is actually like a type of putty that goes into your multi-placer and or your single placer, and you can use it to pick up your diamonds. Full or partial drill. A full drill would be like what I'm working on here, where all of the diamonds cover the entire diamond area. A partial drill is when it is only part of the area. A cover minder, those are magnets that are used, various magnets that are used where the magnet part goes underneath the painting, and the magnet or decoration that's on top goes on top and holds back your plastic for you. That's a cover minder. Pen or stylus, that's one of these, or might look like this here. A unicorn, that is a kit that a person is looking for in the community that is usually archived or discontinued by a company that it's hard to find, really hard to find. Like seeing a unicorn in the wild would be crazy, right? And you're not likely to see a unicorn in the wild. Same goes for these kinds of kits. It's not probably something that you're likely to see, but if you do, you're always amazed when it happens. Rendering. A rendering is the picture of the grid or your drill field area where it's going to show you what the piece will mostly look like when it's finished. So those are the slang and abbreviations. Other names for diamonds. This is my favorite one. So you've got diamonds, obviously. People call them drills or beads, dots, doots, sparklers, all kinds of names, right? So there's some little tidbit researches for you that I found interesting along the way. Now, another thing, when it comes to your research phase, okay, so there are people like myself on YouTube who do reviews or are reviewers or they're affiliates. Now, there is an obvious difference between people who are just reviewing and people who are affiliates for a company. You can usually tell the difference. One, because they will maybe give affiliate codes. Like, I am an affiliate with Art Dot and Diamond Art Club. I have codes for discounts for both of those things. And I might extol their virtues, right? Now, obviously, there are going to be YouTubers who you might want to take with a grain of salt, because if you look at their videos, see what they're posting about. Are they posting lots of things? Are they giving an honest opinion? Does it seem like the only things that they have to say are always nice things? Or, do they seem like they're an honest person? You can usually get a good read for somebody. But, obviously, you want to take what you hear with a grain of salt. Use your own experiences. Sometimes something that a reviewer might not like, another reviewer gushes about, or something that a reviewer gushes about, other content creators had a horrible experience. It's really just, it's a very, I feel like a personal experience thing. I say, every company is worth a try at least once. Twice, if they're making that many mistakes and you're having issues with them, might be time to move on to another company. You know what I mean? But do be aware that some reviewers out there, they might not be telling the full truth all the time. But that said, just watch their other videos. See what other sorts of things that they're reviewing or that they're talking about do they generally seem to be trying to give you good advice, or are they trying to sell you a bill of goods? You know what I mean? Be aware of those things. What is their general attitude like? You know what I mean? Are they likable and trustworthy? Do they seem to be mad about everything all the time? You know what I mean? Like, use your best judgment, obviously. The other thing is, when you are doing your research and you're watching people's haul videos where they're showing you the things that they've purchased, either, maybe with their own money, maybe not with their own money, I don't know. Maybe they're honest, maybe they're not honest, but I don't know. I don't know what to tell you, but what I can tell you is that there are feelings that are involved, I feel like, sometimes when you watch those videos. It can feel boastful or braggadocious or whatever, and that person is probably very, very excited to share their haul or their stash with you, and it is never meant to make anyone feel bad. I don't think, at least in my experience, it's not. But that said, it can carry a certain amount of envy with it, and just know that your monetary abilities are your own. If it makes you severely uncomfortable, I just recommend not maybe watching stash videos, because it's them showing their pride and joy off. It would be like if you collected baseball cards and you wanted to show everybody your baseball cards or your cars or whatever it happens to be that you collect. Diamond painters are usually very proud of the stash that they have. But that said, just know that, you might not have that kind of ability. Also, some of those people that are showing off their stashes, they receive affiliate kits or affiliate items that, that stash might not be 100% grown organically. You know what I'm saying? So be aware of that. Their speed, maybe they're a super, super fast painter. They finish kits very quickly, and you are a slow painter. Like, there's a lot of ways to find envy out there in the diamond painting world. And just remember that this is for you to focus on your mental health, to relax. It's not for you to feel like garbage. So obviously, don't watch things that make you feel like garbage. I don't want you doing that. And just remember that creators are not putting content out there to make other people feel like crap. They really are not. And if they're any good anyways. But, just know that, yeah, you're going to get jealous. I get jealous. I always try to remember that, I'm in a different position in my life than some people, etc. But just, you're enough, okay? You're enough. You're plenty in this life. Anyways, so just, when you're researching and you find those YouTubers or those videos, just, one, take it with a grain of salt, and two, don't envy what somebody else has. You don't know the situation on how they got them or how hard they worked for them or whatever, right? And it's that old don't live in glass houses and throw stones sort of situation. It's easy to feel envious. It's hard to be understanding. So try to be understanding instead. If you can, what is it? Principal Painter says, you can choose to be anything in this life, but choose to be kind. I love that. So moving into like a buying stage, right? Because now you've done your research, you kind of know what some terms are, whatever, you know what you're looking for, all that fun stuff. When you're buying a piece, think about how much time you want to spend on that and dedicate, because it's a dedication. It's not just, you got to plan and kind of figure out time. You know, it might not take you long at all to do certain types of kits, you know, if they're smaller, but a piece like I am currently working on, which is I think it's a 75 by 105, is huge and has taken hours and days and days and days. So please, when you are buying a kit, think about the time that it's going to take, because you might see these YouTubers, you really are only seeing a little bit and then a finished product. You're not seeing the hours and hours and hours it takes to lay thousands and thousands and thousands of diamonds. So keep that in mind. What is it for? You know what I mean? Like, what are you buying it for? We'll circle back to that. Is it a gift? Is this going to be something that you're buying because you think someone else will like it or whatnot? Thinking about that question. I'm going to harp on something a little bit, and only because it's a hot button issue and I'm going to approach it anyways, because that's what I do. Buying licensed versus unlicensed kits. Some content creators out there will tell you that it doesn't matter. It's your first kit and you go buy whatever makes you happy. And yes, I agree. I agree that it's just diamond painting, you guys. It's not that serious, right? You should be able to buy what you want to buy and not feel judgment for it. And 100% agree with that. But there is absolutely zero reason why you should not also be able to not buy stolen artwork, okay? I'm not saying that it has to be from a licensed company necessarily that has artists that they pay that work in-house, or that they, you know, that they commission, or any of that. Any of that. You can buy from a company that has unlicensed artwork. They use Shutterstock, and that's free for everybody to use, and that's the images that they put out in the world, and that hurts nobody. You can even buy from unlicensed companies that may have stolen artwork. Just don't buy stolen artwork, you guys. The reason that it is important to purchase from either licensed companies or unlicensed companies that use like Shutterstock images is because there are many places where their copyright laws are different than our copyright laws, and they don't have any feelings about taking someone's artwork, reprinting it as their own, making money off of that artist's work, and selling it to you, okay? You see a lot of this on Amazon, AliExpress, Temu. No, I don't want you to go out and spend $1,000 on your very first diamond painting or your 50th diamond painting. There's lots of ways to save money and get licensed kits for less expensive. That said, go and buy from unlicensed companies. Don't buy their stolen artwork, please. Please, please. I have a son who's an artist, and if I happen to see that somebody had snatched artwork off of his TikTok or his Instagram or whatever, and then started selling it online, and somebody else was making profit that he didn't even get a touch of, that would really upset me really badly. And it's not right to steal people's artwork. It's not. Okay? I don't need to harp on that any further, but it should not be expensive. This should not break your wallet, right? So if you think for a minute that I believe that the only paintings that you should buy are paintings that cost $60 and $80 and whatever, no. Please go back, and I will add it in the cards. Go back and watch my video on choosing the best kit for you. I go over tons of licensed companies that are well within any person's budget. Any person's budget. You do not have to buy unlicensed or stolen artwork. You don't have to buy stolen artwork. Unlicensed, okay, but not stolen. Okay, guys? And I don't, like I said, I don't want you to break your bank. That said, you can buy direct from companies, or you can buy secondhand. I've purchased lots of diamond paintings secondhand that are licensed kits, okay? You can buy from places like eBay. Sometimes you can find a deal on there. Sometimes, usually people that are selling on eBay are looking to make a profit. I would recommend a site like Mercari, Mercari. Mercari is great because that's a place where people can destash that you don't need to be a special member of a special group to get into. Whereas destash pages are usually found on Facebook. You have to, have permission to join, yada yada. I will caution you that anytime you buy something secondhand, please be careful, especially if it is one of your unicorns. You may end up getting scammed. I was unlucky enough that when I tried to buy my first unicorn that I wanted to purchase, the person on eBay listed the item but never actually sent me an item. I got a refund through eBay, but it just never had to be that way. You know what I mean? Like, they should have just sent me an item or not attempted to sell an item that they didn't have. So just be aware of, what you're spending your money on and who you're spending it with. Check and make sure that they have good feedback on whatever you're buying from. Usually destash pages on Facebook will allow you to, will let people post on their experiences with resellers. Check those out. Mercari has a star system, review system that you can check out, so you can know whether or not they've made sales before, if other people have used and enjoyed them. So make sure you're buying from a trustworthy source, wherever it is. And be aware that when you do buy secondhand, even if it's found at a Goodwill or whatever, the warranties that are offered on those pieces are no longer valid. So, if it has a, we'll cover your missing diamonds forever or a lifetime warranty on your canvas, you don't get those things anymore. So just be aware of that if you are buying secondhand. So if you're buying direct, please make sure that you are using coupon codes. Coupon codes. That's, good for Joann's, Hobby Lobby, Michael's. They always have coupon codes. Sometimes it's like save 30% on any regularly priced item, or buy one, get one 50, or 40% off coupon. Like, there's always coupons for things in stores when you're buying direct. Also, there are ways to save too, that you can find inexpensive kits in those craft stores. Walmart is starting to sell kits. When you're buying from websites, usually if it's your first purchase, they offer 20% off, up to 20% off. In fact, I'll have a little affiliate coupon codes in my details down there. You can check those out. A couple of my affiliate codes are diamond painting salespeople's. So check those out. Usually your favorite YouTubers will have affiliate codes of some kind, or the website itself will offer coupon codes. Just never pay full price. Don't pay full price for diamond paintings, you guys. Unless like it's a Temu or an AliExpress or something like that. But keep in mind when buying that you get what you pay for, and size does matter. So diamond paintings are rendered in centimeters, not inches. So when you're seeing 30 by 30 as the measurement and you're thinking, oh my God, that's huge. It isn't huge. That's not huge. That's in centimeters. So, doing the conversions, figuring out exactly how big that is. Just make sure that you are looking into that when you are buying the diamond painting. Things to watch for is to make sure that you have access to a render, or what the painting is going to look like when it's finished. You should see what it's going to look like in its like 8-bit form, right, where you're seeing it in squares or what have you. If there's not a render available, try to find a finished product in the reviews, a picture of it. Otherwise, you could end up with a piece of hot garbage. I have ended up with many in my early diamond painting days that I had to laugh at. Now, I was mentioning about how you need to know what type of things you're going to like and not like. So you want to make sure that you're checking to see whether it is rounds or squares. A round drill is going to be round diamonds, right? And square drills, like what I'm working on now, it'll be obviously square drills. There's a difference between the two, tends to be that squares show really high detail and rounds do well at being very sparkly and blending. Most people start with rounds and they get very, very scared to try out squares. I was one of those people. It took me until literally this year to actually start working on squares, and I love them. I don't know why I was scared for so long. I say if you're just starting out on one or the other, buy one of each. See what you like. Make sure that you're giving it the time and attention that it requires. If you're doing a squares, just know it's going to take extra time, that you're going to want to, sorry, bumped you. You're going to want to devote a little extra time to it because it's going to take you more time to do it. You're going to want to make sure that you're keeping things straight with squares, because I'll tell you, you mess up one spot and it can throw off the whole painting, whereas rounds are a little more forgiving. So, get one of each and see what you like. Don't be afraid to try it, though, because you might find that attention to detail calls to you more than just working on simple rounds did or does. So try a little of both. There's also different glue types. I didn't know that. If you receive one with a plastic cover, more often than not, that is going to be a piece in rounds. If it has the opaque covering on it, that's usually double-sided adhesive, or DSA. It's just double-sided tape on a canvas, and there's typically issues with it where there'll be what's called rivers or bubbles in it. You got to poke at those with an X-Acto. You got to fix them. They tend to be more of a headache from what I understand. Now, there's some people who swear by double-sided adhesive. I don't care for them personally, but maybe you find a piece that you like a whole lot and it's double-sided adhesive. Well, good for you. I am so happy for you. I love that. That's great. I have not had that experience, unfortunately. So make sure that if, you're not sure whether it offers double-sided adhesive or glue, send a message off to the supplier and ask them. They should be receptive to your questions, whether they are, a company on AliExpress or a large company. You should be able to get answers like that. Or it should tell you right in their descriptions whether they have double-sided adhesive or poured glue. Most places have moved over to poured glue at this point. Not all, obviously. Oop, bumped you again. Sorry. Most, not all. So just, kind of know what you're getting into, because it could lead to massive headaches down the line if you're not prepared to work with double-sided adhesive. You're also going to want to know whether you're working on a large or a small piece. A small piece that is, a 5x7 might take a couple of hours, whereas a piece like I am working on, very, very large, it takes, upwards of 60, 70 hours. Some people work on kits, the same piece, for more than a year. It just really depends on your speed. It depends on a lot of factors. So, when you're seeing these absolutely gorgeous kits, sometimes those things are humongous to work on in order to get it looking that good. So, be ready to either be working on that thing for a long, long time, or to devote, just a lot of hours to trying to get it done in less sittings. But it's going to be a commitment, a time commitment. That's sort of why we do it. It's tedious and it takes time. We get to, you know, mindlessly let go of our day. Diamond painting allows you to just chillax, right? So make sure you know what size you're getting and be ready for that time commitment. Other things, you know, looking at whether it is confetti heavy, like the piece that I'm currently working on, you can see is confetti heavy. Not because I have to change colors so much, but it's like the colors are all over the place. It's not a big chunk or section. I do have a couple parts of this that are like that, but this one, no, not so much. So look at that. See whether or not the piece is confetti heavy or if it's color blocking, because this is going to take you more time, obviously, to pay attention to make sure that you're, you know, because you're going to switch colors a lot, you know, whatever. So just make sure that you're ready for whatever sort of commitment it's going to ask of you. Because it can be quite a, a thing, you know. Mixing up styles. You want to make sure that you are mixing up styles, keeping it fresh for yourself. Now, when I did my stash video, which I'll link in the cards at some point, I'm sure. It's my stash. I'm proud of it. I did notice that I have a lot of the same kind of subject matter. But you'll notice in there, too, that I mix it up. I have a landscape, or I have different kind of colors or sizes. If you're going to get a stash, you need to mix it up some. Try things. Try everything. You might not love landscapes, but you love portraits. You might not love portraits, but you love landscapes, or whatever. You're going to find the right fit for you by just looking around. So just make sure that when you're shopping, you're looking into that too. Also, I want to address FOMO, okay? FOMO is the fear of missing out. It's kind of a new phrase that has popped up in social medias over the last several years, and it is really, really important to address. That fear of missing out. Now, some companies thrive on that feeling of from their customers to get them to drive to buy, right? Now, some companies are better at this than others. I don't have further commentary on that particularly, but what I will say is that there is going to be a drive sometimes for you to get all the things because it's not going to be there tomorrow. And in some cases, that might actually be true. Things will sell out. Things may or may not restock. And you're going to miss out on things. You will. Now, that isn't to say that you can't find it later in a D-stash and unfortunately, sometimes for more than you would have paid if you'd have gotten it when it was for sale. But don't break your bank or go broke or hungry just getting diamond painting kits. It's not that serious. I mean, I can't lie and say that I've never felt some type of way about missing out on a kit and regretting it and whatever, but I also know that there's lots and lots and lots and lots of variety out there, you guys. There's so many companies now. There's so much on offer in the world that you should never lack for finding something you really, really love. Now, are you going to still want those things? Yes, of course. I still want things. There's still stuff on my list that I need, air quote, even though I don't really need it, but I want it, you know, whatever. Like, desire keeps us breathing, right? Keeps us fresh and alive. But I also, like, I'm not working right now. I can't afford to spend money I don't have. So, you know, it is what it is. I'm going to miss out. You're going to miss out. But, you know, there's plenty out there. There's plenty on offer that you and I can find instead of those things. Or, you know, maybe you get lucky and you find it in a D-stash, or maybe you get lucky and it ends up coming back into stock. But yes, FOMO is real. Yes, you're going to be envious of other people's stashes, and yes, you're going to be bothered by it. It is real, and it's going to happen, and I'm sorry, because I feel it too. I do. Now, that's all like before you buy stuff. Let's talk a little bit about after you've made your purchase, right? Things I wish I would have known after I made my purchase. Do you know that it was only just this year, this actual year, that I started using a multi-placer? Something that has saved me hours and hours and hours of time. Now, do not be afraid to grab up that multi-placer. Now, yours isn't going to look maybe like this, obviously, because this I got from Diamond Art Club, but the plastic multi-placers, metal multi-placers, whatever, just try it out. Try it out on a color blocking section, give it a shot, see what it feels like, and try it again. Even if you're messy at it, just keep trying. It's a little harder to multi-place rounds sometimes because they are spread out a little further, so like larger multi-placers don't tend to work as well on rounds as they do on squares, because, you know, you can see that the squares just really kind of fit all together very nicely. And rounds are not always like that. It can be a pain in the butt, honestly. But just give it a try. Don't be afraid to try it out, because you could be saving yourself literal hours and hours and hours. Now, some people, they're always going to like only single placing, or they're going to like always just using a pair of tweezers. Yeah, those weird people exist. I don't get it either, but whatever floats your dinghy, I guess. I can't do it. I don't have that kind of patience, but if you do, more power to you. Okay, so another thing that I get asked about a lot is, what is the difference between resin and acrylics for diamonds, okay? Now, resin, I keep bumping you. Resin diamonds are, I feel that, and most of, I feel like the diamond painting community feels like they are superior to acrylic. Acrylic has less shine. It has a lower melt temperature, so when it does cool off after being pressed or poured, it has a dull kind of finish to it. It is not recyclable. Acrylic is not recyclable, nor is it biodegradable. It creates a lot of plastic waste in this world. And unfortunately, this particular craft does have a lot of plastic waste. So if that's something that you have feelings about, you probably don't want to do acrylic, because that is even more waste. Are you going to know whether your kit has acrylic or resin in it immediately, you know, or beforehand? Only if you buy from certain companies that only work with resin or acrylic. Your less expensive kits, 90% of those less expensive kits stay less expensive because they use less expensive materials, including acrylic drills. Resin is shinier. When it is poured or pressed, it sets with a very high glossy shine to it. You can usually tell on the backs of the drills whether something is acrylic or resin, because resin will have a flat back on it that is very shiny, almost like a mirror finish. Acrylics usually have a little divot in the bottom of them, or like it looks like it was poured or pressed. This is the best way that I can describe acrylic. Resin is also biodegradable and fully recyclable. So it is not going to clog up a landfill. It will eventually biodegrade, or you can recycle it and it can be reused. Acrylic, you cannot. So it's really, you know, up to you whether you're going to buy kits that have acrylic or resin. It's all going to depend too, like, on the company. A lot of companies are trying to do their best to switch over to resin drills, at least reputable companies, because they look better. They have a better end product, though acrylic drills have a completely serviceable end product. They look just fine. I've painted with acrylic over the years many a time, and while it might not be as shiny, it is still just as good, and it's still going to give you a really lovely picture either way. Sectioning off your canvas. So I wish somebody would have talked to me a little bit about sectioning off my canvas instead of me literally peeling back the entire piece of plastic on the piece and then letting either hair or dust or dirt or whatever get into my glue. And I had fur and, oh my God, you guys, just a mess. I also thought it was appropriate to go color by color with my plastic. Maybe if you're working on a real tiny piece, that's fine. But on a piece like the size that this is, that would be a disaster to try and take off the plastic. So sectioning off your plastic with, this is washi tape on either side. Now, Diamond Art Club, that this is, uses pre-perforated plastic. So I just, you know, tear the plastic as I go. But it's very easy to cut and section your plastic using scissors or very gently using a X-Acto knife or getting yourself a ceramic pen knife. Very easy to do. But don't pull up your entire plastic sheet like I used to do and then work on one color, and then it's hard to get your plastic to lay back down because now you've kind of left sections where it won't stick. Like, let's imagine this was my whole piece, right? And I took all the plastic off. Now when I try and put the plastic down, the only place it's going to stick is right here. Maybe a little bit right there and a little over here. But, you know, if that pulls up, I'm kind of screwed because it's going to get dirt and hair and whatever, and then the glue is going to dry. So don't pull up your whole plastic. Section off your canvas. Updating your wax. Yeah. You're really going to want to update your wax, you guys. Dang it. I'll get those in a minute. So I did not realize that I did not have to struggle with Aurora Borealis diamonds, that I could get something else and it would work better. Now, the pink wax is completely serviceable. It will work just fine. Is that to say it's going to work fine every time? Maybe not so much. But you're going to find that being able to work with a different kind of putty or wax is really going to be beneficial to you. Sorry, I'm trying to get under my canvas to get at these other E's. There are lots and lots of different like selections out there for wax and putty. Lots of different companies on offer out there. There is a difference between wax and putty. I did not know about that. I only just started using wax and putty, different wax and putty this year. I learned a lot of things this year because I hadn't really ever messed around on YouTube before. I didn't know that was a thing. So I've learned a lot. I've learned a lot this year. And there are putties that you can get, which are like a putty, literally. And then waxes that are like blocks of wax, or wax that's also kind of like a putty at the same time. All kinds of stuff out there on offer for people. And so you're gonna want to look into it. You're gonna want to look into it and see what's on offer out there. There's lots of shops, but do some research on your own. There's wax, there's putty, there's glue dots, there's blue tack, there's museum putty, all kinds of stuff. But updating your wax might solve some of the problems that you've been having with your canvases, that you don't have to suffer with specifically like your ABs sticking to your wax and pulling it straight out of your pen. Now I have a hacks video, which I will put up in the cards, that you can watch, and you can see how you can actually keep using your same putty and just stop it from taking your wax away. But bumped you. You like it when I bump you that way, though. Updating your trays. I use a really large tray from Cat Proof Trays, but you don't have to use anything like that. If you're using those little green boats, though, you're definitely going to want to get at least something a little bit bigger, especially if you're working on something larger than a 30 by 30 centimeter piece. It's going to take you a long, long time to fill and fill and fill and refill that little boat. So update your tray. You don't have to do as an expensive update, just even stuff that you find for really cheap on Amazon. As long as you get yourself a bigger tray, you're heading in the right direction. Updating your pen. Now, I don't use the regular pens anymore. I can't. My hands cramp up. I get really, really bad issues with my carpal tunnel. And so I had to update my pen to something a lot thicker. Now, obviously, this compared to this is a big difference. But when I try to use this, my hands cramp up because you see I'm like squeezing down on it. Kind of the general rule is if you couldn't sit and write with a regular pen for many, many, many hours on a piece of paper, you're not going to be able to sit and diamond paint for many hours with a tiny little stylus. Update your pen, man. It's like the best thing you can do for yourself this year. If you treat yourself on nothing else, literally nothing else, treat yourself with a better pen. Because you work with your hand primarily through this whole thing, right? I should mention with the pens, you can get pens of so many different varieties. They can be acrylic or resin. They could be polymer clay. They could be wood. They could be resin and wood. They could be a wax pen. Literally, it's like a stylus that has wax in it that you shave off. I mean, they come in all shapes and sizes. You could even see those like roller wheels. Now, I've not had any sort of success with that myself. Maybe you will, but just get a better pen. That said, be aware of gimmicky type things. If it's not something that you see every diamond painter using, it's probably like fake. I've seen those videos where it shows like somebody's using a pen that seems to be like depositing diamonds as they're using it. It's a fake video. Those roller pens, I mean, I bought one. I had no success. I have not really seen too many people have success with it. You don't see very many people using it, and there's probably a reason. So just whenever you're seeing like kind of gimmicky things, if it's not something you're seeing a lot of diamond painters using, it's probably not worth your purchase. Just to keep that in mind. But things that you should get that you're going to see everybody has is getting yourself some sort of storage. You don't want to work out of those little bags. I mean, I did it until, again, this year. I didn't really look into updating anything until this year. Why? I wasn't really on social media too much the last 5 years. I'm still really not, but I just didn't really know what was out there. I didn't do any research. But see, you're already one step ahead of me. I didn't even know to watch a video. You know what I mean? So get some sort of storage, because I'm telling you now, like working out of those bags, you will find yourself going about 1 billion times faster just in having some sort of storage that you don't have to like tape back up or like bother with, because just what a freaking mess. What a mess. I never want to go back to that ever again in my life, you know? Because any kind of storage is going to speed you up. Other useful supplies, get yourself some sort of a straightening tool. They have, in the cheaper kits, they usually have one of these things here. Otherwise, one of the larger, it looks like not a pizza cutter, but I don't know, it looks like a flat protractor type tool. It looks like a tool anyway, which you can use for straightening. But even honestly, something like this, you see as I go along, I straighten things just to make sure that it lays straight. Now that said, you don't need to lay perfectly straight diamonds in order to be satisfied with your piece. I personally feel like if I'm going to spend the money on it, I'm going to make sure it looks good. That might not be your opinion about your piece. Maybe you just do it for literally something to do to relax. That's totally okay too. Really anything that I'm telling you, take with a grain of salt. And if it works for you, it does. If it doesn't work for you, it doesn't work for you. It's all personal preference, you guys. The other thing, you know, like this is kind of two that I feel like are optional, not necessary, but I didn't know that they existed when I first started diamond painting. And again, this is a video about things I wish I would have known. I didn't know anything at all about the fact that you could enhance your own diamond paintings, that you could get special drills or diamonds to go on your painting and make it look cooler even than just the way it arrived to you. I didn't even know that was a thing. There are websites, and I will link them below, where you can get additional drills. Now you could just get, bumped you again. You could just get acrylic drills. You could get resin drills. You could get sparkly drills. You could get, you know, shimmery drills. There's so many different things on offer out there that you could get. And all you have to know is the DMC, or the DMC code is the code that's on your stuff here. So not the number 3 and not the symbol, but that number right there, that 157, that is the DMC color chart code. All companies pretty much use this same color chart to notate what their colors are. So you could get, so I'm using 157. I could go on to one of those sites. DP with Sparklers is one that I name right off the top of my head. I could go on there and find that color in an AB or Aurora Borealis or in a fairy dust or in a whatever it happens to be. And instead of placing that, you know, a regular diamond on here, I could place that special diamond. It's very easy to do, and I wish I would have known about it, because I would have been doing some more blinging of my diamond paintings a lot earlier than I started. Because they even have on some sites, specifically DP with Sparklers or Diamond Painting with Sparklers, upgrade kits that you can buy for specific canvases. So if you're working on a specific canvas, Tima over at DP with Sparklers, Tina, she might already have an upgrade kit all made up, so that all you have to do is buy the drills, and they even note where the charting is supposed to be, where you're supposed to put them. You don't even have to do the work. Pretty cool, I thought. Another thing that's extra that I wish I really would have thought about before diamond painting, it's not that I didn't know it, it's just I didn't know to think about it. So many people at the end of the year, they'll do, you know, their year in review, or they'll do their month in review or whatever, and they have all these stats and they have all this information, and they have a journal. And I really wish I would have thought about journaling my progress before I did, because there are some diamond painters who know what number of diamond painting they're on now, and they've been diamond painting for 5 or 6 years or more. And they know the number that they're on, and I have no frickin' idea. Like, I've given so many away, or I've thrown some away, or, you know, whatever, that I have no idea. I couldn't tell you how many diamond paintings I've done. If it was in the, you know, the tens or something, maybe I'd be able to tell you a rough estimate, but I can't even give you that. I don't know, it's not hundreds, but it's lots. Okay, it's lots. I don't have that information because I didn't have a journal, and I really wish that I would have thought about that or what have you beforehand. And anything works. I mean, even just a notebook works, but to journal the process. And maybe you want to journal the process and remember what you've done. Even just some simple notes might jog a memory of what that painting looked like. Or you could doodle a little picture or whatever. But, you know, keep some sort of record, because if this is something that you're going to stick with, you're going to want to know these things. You're going to want to remember, right? Now, some miscellaneous things that I wish somebody would have reminded or told me about. I need reminding. I've been an hour into this video, okay? And in that time, I have needed to pause and move for whatever reason, but I sit sometimes for 7 or 8 hours at a go and not move. And now on my Twitch stream, I have taken to about every hour. If there's people on the stream, they'll ask sometimes, is it time for a stretch break? Or is it, you know, it's been an hour, stretch break time. They'll remind me or I'll remind them so that we all get up and take a stretch break. Posture is so important in ergonomics. That's why I tell you to get this, you know, a different kind of pen. Ergonomics are important because your body will degrade much faster if you're not taking good care of it. So making sure that you're able to sit up straighter, making sure that, you know, if you need to work on a drafting table or a tilted surface or whatever, that you're paying attention to your body and what your body needs. You don't want to have a bad back, thanks to diamond painting. You don't want to strain your eyes, which is why it's important that, you know, if you can, get yourself a light board, or making sure that you're working in a well-lit area so that you can see what you're doing. It will save you down the line massively because you're not straining. So keep that in mind. Hydration, massively important. In fact, let me take a drink right now. Hold on. Here we go. Yes. Hydration. Drink that water, you guys. Drink water. Drink juice. Drink something. Just make sure that you're always... Now, I would not recommend keeping a drink open and near your diamond painting. I would have it on a separate table or away from you or in a bottle that seals. Because you don't... the last thing you want to do is spill a soda or water or beverage all over your diamond paint. That would be catastrophic, guys. Don't do that. So make sure you got it closed up. But make sure you're just hydrating. Hydrate. Because the other thing you should be doing during those stretch breaks is taking pee breaks. If you're taking pee breaks every time that you're stretching, then you're drinking enough water. That's a good sign that you're drinking enough water. You should be peeing a lot. And then the last thing that I think is important to talk about when it comes to diamond painting is burnout. And I know that's like a bummer topic that nobody really wants to talk about, burning out. But you can lose love for this craft by making it more than just for relaxation, right? Now, I'm a content creator, so it's a little harder for me. You know, like I've got to diamond paint to make content, right? Or I've got to do stuff around diamond painting to make content. But I can tell you right now, I love this. I absolutely love it. I love it, love it, love it. If a content creator is talking about burning out and they're not taking a break, they should take a break. That's what they should do. They should take a break. I get it. Those, you know, your subs go down and whatever. Yeah, that sucks. but your body and your mental health is so much more important than a subscriber. I mean, what are you really losing besides your sanity if you don't take breaks? See, I'm new to the gig. Maybe I'm not jaded or whatever yet. Cool. But, you know, if you're a content creator and you're burnt out, just take that break, man. Like, I'm telling you, your YouTube subscribers can hear it when you're burnt out. They can hear it. They know it. Your attitude changes. Your whole demeanor changes. Like, you're grumpy. You're sorry, but you're beeping on your channel. Like, take a break, man. Just take a break. Let somebody else step up and take the reins for a little bit. Don't burn out. You know, just give yourself breaks. Do you need to make 3 videos a week? Make 1 video a week. Make 1 video a month. Make 0 a month. Just do what you need to do. You got your own stuff to worry about. And the YouTube subscribers will be there or they won't be. But, you know, they should be able to understand that you need to take breaks too. But for those of you who are not YouTube content creators or content creators, you still need to take breaks too. I mean, if you're sitting and hammering away at a diamond painting for 8 hours a day, every day for 6 months, 8 months, a year and a half, whatever, then you're going to burn out eventually. So, you know, that's why it's important too to mix things up, do different kinds of, you know, challenge yourself differently. Maybe you want to do a cross-stitch conversion where you take a cross-stitch pattern and a blank canvas. You buy your own diamonds and you do a cross-stitch conversion. Or maybe you wanna just do freehand. Maybe instead of doing diamond paintings, you do diamond paintings like those diamond stickers or coasters, or change it up. Make it different. Do a different kind of diamond painting craft or whatever. You can keep it relevant on your channel or in your life. You can keep it related to it, but try something different. Try something new. Keep it fresh, because otherwise you will burn out. And you should not be burning out from something that is meant to give you a feeling of relaxation, right? Don't do it for the challenge. Do it for the love of diamond painting, and for, you know, just the feeling that it gives you, the dopamine that you're receiving from it, because you should be receiving dopamine when you're diamond painting. It's what it's supposed to do for you. And if you're not, then you're not doing something right, and you gotta come up with a different plan, you know? That's really important to me, because, you know, the whole reason I started this channel, the whole reason I started diamond painting was for my mental health. And so it's important that you pay attention to what your mind and your body needs from you. Now, granted, I should probably listen to my body and sleep more, but, you know, I really like my diamond painting. That said, I hope that I was able to provide some insight to new people, and maybe even some insight to people who have been around the block for a while. You know, old hands, as they say. That said, if you're just getting here for the first time, thank you so much for sticking around all the way to the end. If you're returning and a subscriber, thank you so much for subscribing. Like, you have no idea what your support means. If you would like to receive any kind of special content that no one else can receive, or if you'd like to help out the channel, you can go ahead and check me out on Patreon. There's a link in the description. I decided to suck up the pride and join Patreon because I want to do something amazing with the channel, and I know that I need help to get there. And so I'm going to ask for help to get there, because I think that I can continue to do great things with the channel and with you guys. Otherwise, you know, I thank you for sticking around with me all the way to the end. Please hit the like button if you like this video. Comment below. Tell me if there was anything that I missed. And, you know, hit that subscribe button if you enjoyed this video and would like to see more diamond painting content from me. Until next time, I hope that wherever you are in this great, big, beautiful world, that you are having a beautiful morning, evening, afternoon, whatever time it is, wherever you are. Thank you so much. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.